Hey guys, so today I'm getting some wood prepped for the lathe. I'm just going to glue together these 4 little squares. They're 1.5 inches and show you what I do to get the glue on there nice and even. You don't want to go chintzy on it. These ones here, I'm going to just put a nice fat strip of glue on there. And then I'm going to spread it out. You want it to cover the whole surface that you're gluing. And I got this little backer board down here to keep glue from getting all over the place. Okay. So, then just stack those on there like so. Whoop, wrong way. Don't do it like that. Do it like this. Then you flip it over. And some of this glue is going to squeeze out, but I'd rather have more than not enough because I'm going to be spinning this on the lathe and I don't want it coming apart. Now if you let this sit, it'll set up in about 30 minutes. I usually, when I'm gluing stuff for the lathe, let it sit for a full 24 hours before I lathe it. So this bad boy is going to be the base of the bed that I'm going to be building for our room. I'm going to turn some legs out of it. These are just 2x8s, which really means they're 7.25 by 1.5 inches. So I had to glue 5 of them together. Had to count them real quick. So these are the blocks before I start lathing them. This is how I glue them together. And these have been sitting for about 1.5 days now, so they should be well dry. So I've got these measured out. I'm leaving the top of these square, so I'm not going to be turning them round for the most part. And I'm going to just notch them out right here at the corners with my coping saw. Because that way, when I'm taking the rest of this round, it doesn't chunk this part off and this stays square. At least that's the hope. Every now and then it still will catch it, but this really helps save it to keep it from just splitting off the whole end. Because when you've got these square corners, it'll just zip them down real fast and rip them right off of there. So I'm just cutting this down about 1/2 inch. So maybe 3/4, not too far. And this piece is so big it barely fits on my lathe. I have to start way back here to get it to be able to turn. Otherwise, I'm not going to, I can only have about 3-4 inches right here where I can take it round. So this piece is so big, you can see I've got my little cutout on my rest here on the lathe, right there. If I spin this, it barely misses it, but it's so wide, I have to just do a little bit at a time. Got about 4 inches where I can work right here. So I just got started. I had a big chunk of wood fly off. That's what this cut's going to keep from happening. It won't chunk that out like this. I wear a big face shield so that when I'm turning this round, it doesn't fly up and hit me in the neck or the chin or the eyes. Once I get it farther down, I'll probably switch to regular safety glasses, but when I'm getting it to round, a lot of material flies off and I like to use this shield. You can see here I had a piece fly off, but it didn't go past my cut, so I still have a square corner right here. Okay, so I've got enough rest here that I can come and work over on this edge. I'm going to just take the skew chisel as this goes around and cut that right there so I don't have any more issues like this splitting. already had one leg turned, so I'm just going to use it as a template here. It's down to round, and I can work real easy with it now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start shaping it. Got the screw chisel out, I'll show you a little bit of that. So to get them matching, I just have a bench on the back here that I use to prop stuff up on so I can kind of keep an eye on what I'm doing. I didn't have a caliper big enough for this, so I made one out of a couple of paint sticks. And to measure, I just grab my measurement here, and then that's how I check to see how much farther I have to go down. Alright, so this is the thickness I want right here at the end, and I'll just cut that back. I've got this fun knot here, and another one here, and another one there, so we'll see how this goes. It'll be fun cutting through those. Alright, this is 80 grit, just a belt sander that's cut down. You gotta watch this square end because it'll grab you. It'll also grab your sandpaper. I'm gonna turn the speed up a little bit. Finish it off with 120 grit. I had a couple of splits where the seams were. I'm painting these legs white, so I'm not worried about it. If I was going to stain them, then see this one here, I didn't do a very good job gluing that, but it still held together really well, even turning it on the lathe. I have a couple others that I have that are glued together much better. This one here I glued together all in one huge piece, like 8 feet long. It turns out a lot better if you glue it together shorter in the sections that you want. But I'm going to finish sanding this. I'll put some putty in here. I'm going to use Bondo on these. You would use wood filler if you were going to stain it, or a resin depending on what color you were doing. And then you can just spin this and sand it smooth again. So it takes a bit of practice to go from this chunk of wood to something like this. I just painted it white. I left it a little rough. We're gonna go distressed on it. You can sand it down more, putty, whatever you want to do to get the perfect finish on it. But we leave our stuff pretty rustic because that's the style we're going for. Hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe. If you want to see the bed completed, hop over to my wife's channel, Jamie Ray Vintage. I'll have the link for you, and I'll have this completed bed in a video I'm doing with her.